Hi, this is Mark from Altcoin Buzz. Thanks for joining me once again as we dive into some of the coins that you've asked about along with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Take a look at the charts and see what they might be telling us with all the price action that's been going on throughout the day. And don't forget to make your comments below on the coins that you'd like us to take a look at. Let's get started. Okay, Ethereum on the 12-hour chart. What a nice looking chart, right? You got to like this kind of action going on. Strong indications all the way around from Ethereum. We've been talking about it the last few days. The chart's very strong. The indicators are showing that this coin has a lot of health to it right now. So let's assume some horizontal support and resistance lines, and then we'll try and look at where that shows up on the retracement tool. So it looks like we have decent support. This, again, just manually setting these. 655 was our previous support. 701 looks like it would be our next support level if this adjusts back down. So right now, 655 is a strong support level. That's a level that we found on the RSI support, and it's also showing up in here. This level is yet to be confirmed. 701 is a support, but really could be if we trend back down. And if we take a quick retracement, we are testing that 786. So 762, call it, is a nice level that we've broken through. So we just want to end up there now as our support, much higher than where we're at here. So you've got this range that you're looking at right now. Your resistance at 761, your 701 as it looks like a pretty strong support level at this point in time. The only thing that concerns me about this becoming our support level, the 761, is that when we see this kind of dramatic action coming up, we have a lot of times the same kind of dramatic action coming back down. Now, I don't think we'll retrace all the way back down to here based upon the strength of the other indicators, but to end up breaking through the 761, 762 range theoretically and landing as support there doesn't seem likely to me. It seems like we would test the 701 first, the $700 range first before breaking through there and landing as support. But in any case, the chart looks strong. We've got a good range in here that's strong. And if you're on the bear side, you want to be looking to see if it breaks through the 701 down to the 677. And then from there, we'd be watching what happens with that price action and looking to see if the momentum is slowed down in the indicators. But right now, this is the range that you're probably going to be focused on right here. I don't know that we'll have enough momentum to get above this 761 and settle on it as support, but we'll just have to keep watching how these strong candles end up closing and seeing when that retracement, which is inevitably going to happen, happens, and then how far. Okay, Bitcoin on a 12-hour chart. We're focused in right here. Today we broke through a previous swing high right in here. We'll see where this candle closes, but it looks like we won't be able to have enough volume to get a momentum up to close above this swing high that we broke through. And we actually broke through that one along with this one back here, or at least we touched on it. So that's the first level of resistance we're going to be looking at, that 97.70. And then let's find some support to here. Our support is roughly at that $9,000 range. We'll do a little quick Fibonacci to see how that lines up. So this is our retracement tool that kind of gives us the overall cycles of the patterns. This is where we tested that swing high back here. We're using this as the start of this wave back in here. There's our low. And so that 86.55 is our fib support. If we use our candle closes, I'm going to zoom in for you, 89.80 could be a medium support before we would come back to that 86.55. We have a little bit of bearish divergence right now going on. The Ichimoku cloud would really like to have support coming in at this 94.58, this range right in here. So if we could settle in here, that's a very comfortable level for Bitcoin to be at and bounce off of to prove that we've moved to the positive side of this consolidation. So we need some more confirmation that this first wave is not finished off yet, but we're in a midpoint with a lot of indicators that are struggling against each other to prove this out. So we're going to have to keep watching this price action to see what happens. Ultimately, we want to find support again at this 94, call it 94.60 range somewhere in here, get some more volume behind the coin so that we can start closing or trending along this 97, 70, 75 range. And if that's the case, then we're not finished with this first wave yet, and we'll have to wait and see when we might be looking for a retracement to come back. So Bitcoin taking a little bit of a breather right now, and we'll just have to keep an eye on it. Okay, quickly before we get into the Zcash chart, real quick note, we're going to be looking at Zcash on the USD one-day chart, and you can see right now 308.42 at 5.9% increase over the day. That compared to Bitcoin right now, if you invested the same dollar, you'd be making about 0.5% less on Zcash than if you were to invest it in Bitcoin. So I want you to understand as we're looking at Zcash and some of these other coins that we're looking at them on the US dollar, but if you were to invest that same dollar into Bitcoin, sometimes you're going to make more money if you have it in Bitcoin than in that particular coin, like Zcash. But it all depends on what your strategy is and how you want to increase your wealth, or whether you believe in this project, whether you want to increase your position within Bitcoin. So, that's a personal thing. I just wanted to point it out. And if we back up to Zcash on the USD chart, it's a 12-hour chart. Let's just take a look overall at kind of what the trend looks like here, because this is a relatively new coin. So starts back here. Typically, we'll see that kind of dump off after coin gets released from some profit taking. But overall, if we draw, can't really use this as our trend line because we don't get enough confirmation. So we'll go back here, and that's not perfect, but you can see that it is on a slight slant. You could almost call that support because it's so slight, but that's where we're at right here. And then you can see this wave down. If this, and this are confirmation points, you can see that we've broken out of that wedge, right? Now you could say, why didn't you draw them over here? Well, I could, right? There's this consolidation going on here. It looks like it's almost painted right down that line. However, it's hanging out in the open. There's no confirmation back here against that. But there is back here because we played against this line before as resistance. So we'll leave that as our trend line on the top, on the highs. Our trend line on the bottom, the lows. We've got a breakout going on here. And then as I look at the other indicators and I line those up, it looks like we're starting to find support here on our RSI. So that's good. It also looks like we haven't crossed over yet to any significance to say that this was the end to the first cycle and this was the start of two. This all looks like one continuous initial thrust. So as I look at the indicators and it shows that this is all still one cycle. This is just some consolidation within the cycle. And let's see if this trend line tells us anything now. I'll take this one out. So that's basically this trend line that we have going right now with one bounce, two bounces. And if we get a third, it'll be on this trend line. The way things are looking, on a very quick draw, this has acted as support. One of our golden areas is 618. That's at about 270 as a golden support. And if we even drew our own trend line out and just started there, you can see it matches with this resistance in here. Okay, so if we can find support on this 786, and it looks like we have enough momentum to do it, because again, I think this is just merely consolidation within this first wave. Our next resistance level will be 330. If we break through this trend line, our next support level is back on that 269, and then we'd have to look at the indicators because it would most likely put us on a retracement line with support being back at this 269. So a bear play would be a break of the 269 support level. A bull play would be a break of the 330 level as resistance, which you can see was also our previous high, swing high. So I'd really like us to close above that swing high, not just dip into it. So that's Zcash for you. Quick review of Iota. IoT on the 12-hour chart, we're on an uptrend. That's pretty obvious. You don't even have to be able to read a chart to see that. So Iota had a nice launch off of this consolidation. So let's just get some support and resistance levels in here. Your support level is back at the previous swing low here, and we had resistance against it right here. So your support level is right around 170. You've got a range of support between the 170 and in here at the 180. You've broken through this previous swing high, so your next swing high is going to be up in this area. All the indicators are very positive. It's not even that this is on a second leg in here. This is one continuous wave, it looks like. So we're still on wave one of this coin. Let's do a quick Fibonacci just to give us a little idea of where this could end up at. We'll start it from our next previous swing high, since that's what we're going to be challenging here soon. And again, this is just a quick Fibonacci, but you can see we broke through that 618. Now the 618 is a golden number. It's the heart of the Fibonacci tool, the retracement tool, to kind of analyze what the trend of the coin has been. It's a mathematical equation. Just to show you, it's not pulling any data from this chart. It's merely a mathematical pattern. Because if I drew that Fibonacci out here with nothing around it, no data around it, you can see it will still give me those levels. Hopefully that makes sense. It's not pulling data from these candles to come up with levels. So again, we're going to be challenging this previous swing high. So let's just go from there down to our lowest point, which was back in here where the cycle looks like it started. And we could go up here if you wanted to say it was here, but you can see it doesn't really change things a lot. So we'll just go from there. And what you've got is the first level, 0.382, which is $1.79, $1.80, which we talked about when we drew that. It's very close to where we manually drew that support line, right? This is a very strong level for the coin. We've got a good upward trend. We've got good volume going against it. We've broken and closed above that level. You can see right here. We're challenging the 786. So the next level of resistance is going to be 266. And you can see where we drew our ultimate swing high that we want to try and challenge, which is at the 312 level. So right now, all the indicators have a lot of strength behind them. The volume's here to support this coin. You're definitely going to be challenging this 266, and potentially you want to see it close above that. And then once it closes above that, you have confirmation that you're going to be able to try and challenge this next swing high, the 312, unless everything totally turns heads over tails, which it doesn't look like is going to happen right now. So Iota is a very strong coin, in my opinion, at this point in time. Okay, Walton coin. We're trading in this price channel right here with some nice upward momentum. We found support right in this level. We've just surpassed a swing high back here, a previous swing high. Current support sitting at $15 or so. The indicator is showing that we're slowing down because we've got a lack of volume coming into the coin and they're starting to flatten out. So the momentum on this uptrend seems to be slowing down a little bit. It's not to the negative side at this point in time. It could just go into a consolidation for a little bit. But if we do a quick Fibonacci for the next previous high, and let's just take the lower of the two, if we could get some volume back into the trading on this coin, then we could theoretically test this 618 at 1887 or 1890 in that range. Right now, we're hitting our head against a resistance line at 742. So we're looking on the bull side to break the 740 range, find that as support, and then we're going to test the 1887. Again, without the volume to break through that and have that become our support is yet to be seen. If we break through the bear level at that $15 mark right in that range, $14.75 to $15, then the end of this first wave could be coming. We'd have to check to see all the indicators if we're going into a negative retracement area, and then we'd have to take a look at that. But theoretically, we could retrace back as low as $8. Before getting there, we'd probably test this level right in here first at $12.75, this yellow line. So there you have it. Break through the $15 support level, and you'll probably hit your first test at $12.73. Break above that $17.50 level, and you'll find your first test at $18.85-ish. Okay, Walton coin. All right, let's do a speed chart on Monero. As we look at the 12-hour chart, Monero on the USD chart, we've got some retracement going on here. And there's a lot of indicators, like our moving average is starting to cross over. Our RSI has crossed over past the midpoint, and our next support level that we'd have to bounce off of would be in here. We've got our MACD crossing over, potentially past that midpoint. The momentum against this coin is all to the bear side. Now, the good news to that is it looks like this is just a retracement from our first wave. It doesn't look like it's finished yet, so we wouldn't be able to do a Fibonacci trend necessarily, but we could look at a Fibonacci, and again, this is just a retracement tool using some data to tell us approximately where this coin's been at different levels. and we'll use that as our swing low and that as our swing high. It lines up pretty nicely with the 244 being our support area. If we were to manually draw a support line, I think we'd be closer in here because we've had this as support and this as resistance before, which is more like 230. But the argument could be made that you had some of that same action back here. Call your support level somewhere between 230 and where it sits right now at that 245-ish area. Your next resistance level would come in here at our last swing high between the 295 and 300 range. If you could bounce off of that and make that your support after this retracement, then you're shooting for 332 and then from there 378, which theoretically could be a reality given that that would be your third part of this wave. Potential, anyway. So right now, if I'm playing this coin bear, I'm waiting for it to break through this 229, 230 area and find where its next support's going to go. If I'm playing bull and this thing reverses around and ends this second leg, I'm looking to see how it reacts against the 295 resistance level between that and its swing high. So that's Monero. Thank you once again for spending your time with me. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget to check us out on all the other places that we are around. Hey, check it out. We're on Facebook. And we're also on Twitter at AltcoinBuzzIO. On Instagram at AltcoinBuzz. We've got a brand new podcast that if you haven't checked out yet, you really should. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the like button. Also hit that alert button so you know everything that's coming up when it comes up. And happy trading.